Good evening. You know, one of my favorite quotes and beliefs for that matter is character is who you are under pressure. Feel that pressure, right? Not who you are when everything's fine. That was a quote I shared with the ASAP team members in an email over 2.5 years ago, after we felt the pressure of our first community report that night. We were nervous, and we very clearly understood by that time the incredible mountain of a problem we were endeavoring to climb and take on. People had a whole lot of different perspectives on what we should do. They had a whole lot of different opinions. Community and members spoke, and we listened. The team was determined, steadfast, and committed to make a difference, and to bring along as many people as possible to improve processes, fill gaps, learn, educate, reduce recidivism, and most importantly, help people and save lives. I continued in my email noting, if last night was any indication, I'm on a team and in a community with people of incredible character to make improvements and put a crater in this crisis. So here we are today. This mission has made such an incredible beginning impact, not only on people's attitudes, education, and knowledge, but I really hope that you can see that it's changing and improving our community system as a whole. We've increased treatment capacity, knowledge, accountability, and understanding. We've improved responses, opportunities, and collaborations. Silos no longer exist, not welcome. We've progressed from a subject no one really talked about and people hid from, to one in which we can discuss issues relating to addiction openly and respectfully. Because of that, we are seeing more people and more families coming forward to admit that they are suffering, that they need help. There's less shame, less embarrassment, as it should be. Thank you to the prevention team for your remarkable help in educating and providing information to our community. We are seeing your impact. As we move forward, the discussions must continue, because in the beginning, many were frustrated with the lack of our ability and resources to efficiently and effectively address the needs of those with substance use disorder. And from the court system side of it, we were also addressing an area in which there are already 2 marks against a person finding themselves in a courtroom for possessing and using drugs due to an addiction. From a historical standpoint, the person was first an addict, many who people could not or did not want to relate to. Second, if convicted of a possession charge that acquired a criminal label, placing them in a category that most people did not want to associate with. That was reality. So we also have to understand that when a person faces what they perceive to be rejection or criticism from their own community without adequate support or resources to change, there's a higher likelihood they'll slip back into their old habits, subjecting themselves to life-threatening and/or criminal situations. So there was a response and an understanding component we needed to address, to learn about addiction, to learn about the people and why they were using. Because conclusive labels, correct as they may be, cause us to have a perception about who someone is, but may tell us nothing about the inner person. So let me tell you about one criminal addict. Her parents abandoned her at 2 weeks of age. She saw them for the first time at 5 years old, and then only intermittently. Adopted by her grandparents at 2, they gave her a stable home. She had surgery at the age of 12, was given pain meds, became hooked. 3 years later, her grandfather died of cancer, another loss. She then dropped out of regular school and took night classes so she could work full-time to financially assist her grandmother. She did complete her GED. However, in the same year her father died, she was raped. Although she had counseling for a very short period of time, she still to this day has continuing nightmares, and her drug use continued. At 16, her grandmother became ill. In order to avoid the fear of having to possibly live with her mother, who she did not know and who had abandoned her, she married an 18-year-old boyfriend. When she turned 18, she divorced him because he had cheated on her, another loss. She continued to use drugs, but intravenously. Within a year, she entered a new relationship. They both were users. They had a child during the relationship, and that relationship ended when her boyfriend died of an overdose. Another loss. She began using heroin and meth every day. She then dated another who subjected her to physical abuse. And no, I'm not making this up. Not surprisingly, she lost custody to her child. The foster parents adopted the child 1 year later. Another loss. But the adoptive parents, who live in another state, also allow her to have contact as often as she can and as the child desires. She then lost her grandmother, and she became further involved in criminal activity. She was diagnosed with manic depression, intermittent explosive disorder, severe anxiety, and PTSD. She received treatment once for substance abuse through probation. She failed probation, served jail time, and was released. She had nowhere to go, so she went back to friends she knew. Within 30 minutes of her release, she was using again. 6 days later, she overdosed with heroin, but she survived. Even she, after 20 years of use, was surprised by the severity of the addiction and how strong and how quickly it took hold of her again. At her sentencing, I told her that I knew her life was not just the crime she committed and she was before me for, but it was about the struggle, the hurt, the disorder, the abandonment, the loss, and she needed help. She shook her head yes, and she cried. She still has a sincere desire to become sober. She wants to know what it feels like to live a life of recovery, but fully admits she has no idea how. Yes, she committed a crime. Yes, we responded accordingly. But to stop the crime from happening again or drug use from continuing, we need to know who the inner person is. You can't fix someone if you don't understand what's broken inside. So just as a reminder, labels may tell you nothing about the inner person. You said most people who use, they do so to conceal, to try to heal, to cover up secrets or problems. They may want to feel nothing for a short period of time because they believe their reality is too painful. Or they may try to feel really good for a very short period of time. If we treat only the substance use disorder without touching on the underlying issues or lack of life skills, we most likely will resolve little and be back again. We know that now, we, you, us, together, are putting in place responses to address those issues, along with treatment. Another young lady with a somewhat similar background, about 2 years in successful recovery, briefly spoke to this lady. And she let her know with a smile, 2 years ago, I was sitting where you are now. I saw no hope. I just felt nothing, and I didn't care. But I can tell you, there is hope. You can live. And believe me, if you can do it, if I can do it, anyone can. Every person we talk to every day, every step we have taken on this mission and will continue to take is worthwhile, important, necessary. It's a component to offering the hope. We are turning the tide of this problem that has plagued and devastated us for many decades, and we can't stop now. Every life is worth it. We are all helping that effort by putting in place a collaborative, accountable, educated, science and evidence-based system that appropriately identifies those in need, their underlying issues, and an appropriate response with services, resources, accountability, and care. So what's changed? 2 years ago, I let you know how family members would come to court and testify. They would actually ask that I keep their loved one in jail. So in their mind, and at least for a short period of time, they would know where their loved one was. And for a period of time, they could sleep and not worry about receiving a phone call that they had overdosed or died. Many would tear up or cry, not knowing how to help. And you could feel as they testified their desperation, the fear, the love, the questions, the disappointment, their lack of understanding, all underlined with a breath of longing hope. And I have to tell you, my heart would sink. In May of 2017, I shared some of these stories in an email with my ASAP friends because I wanted them to know and understand that people and families we are seeing every day, the frustration and helplessness we all felt knowing that we lack sufficient appropriate treatment and resources to offer immediate or even predictable options. And I asked for help. ASAP and you, this community, you answered. Now, when defendants or their family members ask about help, information, possible insurance, or treatment, the response is different. Now I can say, and I did this morning more than several times, here's information about the hub. Here's the brochure. You can go there today. They can find and help find insurance coverage for you. They can refer you for an evaluation or treatment. They can help you with transportation issues. They can help you with a resume, work with you on other concerns or obstacles you may have. There are also other treatment options and resources for you, including LifeWorks through St. Peter's, Centerstone, Community Downtown, Dr. Sador's, CRH's New Treatment and Support Recovery Center, CAS. In fact, you're welcome to stop by CAS today. Don't wait. Go now. Walk in. Get help. Last week, a person came in for an initial hearing on a new possession charge. He brought his girlfriend with him, who sat right behind him. She kept her eyes down, looked supportive but embarrassed. But I also noticed he did not look well. As I finished telling him when his new court appearances would be, I then stated, you know, by the way, and I don't want you to comment in any way, but just in case you'd be interested, I'm going to give you some information on places you could go for help if you think you need that right now. If you're not sure where to go, what to do, or lack insurance, you can start out at the hub. You can walk right in. They'll see you today, right now. So if you need help, don't wait. Go. As he came up and took the card I handed him, his girlfriend was now looking up toward us. I caught her eye and she smiled and she mouthed the word, thank you. What she didn't know is I did little to earn that thanks. You, all of you here today, ASAP treatment and recovery team, the community volunteers as a whole, you earned it. So I thought I'd pass the thank you on for an option for you because you are the rightful owners of that thanks. Another person was brought over from jail for a bond hearing, but the state defense agreed that he be released and put back on probation. I know that probation and pretrial services programs are well aware of the treatment options now, through TASK, through the hub. I knew this defendant would be given those options, so I did not address it. He had to sit through another hearing with another inmate. We did have that discussion. After the hearing, the jail officer approached me and said, hey Judge, the other inmate is asking if he can also have the cards for those resources you just talked about. Of course, I said yes, because at that moment he was listening. He was choosing to reach out for help, for hope that you created. Job well done, my friends. As he was handed the cards, he looked at me and he said, thank you. Again, thank you. In a family law case, a father openly admitted to suffering from substance use disorder. He has no pending criminal charges, but he was struggling. On his own admission in court, he believed it was in the best interest of his child not to see the child face to face until he got treatment. He wasn't sure that he could get treatment because he had already tried 3 times at one place and hadn't worked that out yet and couldn't get in. He had insurance. Again, you and the efforts of ASAP gave me an ability to offer him helpful resources and a treatment option that day. He was not aware of them. He is now. Thank you. All these situations, these possibilities were not possible 2 years ago. You have made them possible. I also believe something else was not possible 2 years ago. A drug recovery. Not because I didn't think or believe we didn't need it, but because I knew at that time we did not have the resources or the collaborative process in place in which to implement one. When rumors started in December 2017 that a drug court would be started within 1 year, my heart stopped because I knew it was impossible to offer a program at that time. But Julie, Kevin, Jeff, Rhonda, Anna, Cheryl, who I referenced on stage about a year ago, as well as all you out there, you delivered. The Veterans and Family Recovery Court also provided a wonderful example to you, the community, of how effective problem-solving courts can be. They set the path for you to see the benefits of working together in a non-adversarial, accountable court setting to resolve issues and improve lives. Those courts possess contract and other resource opportunities that are not available for an adult drug recovery court. But with the support of ASAP and you, that gap is filled. We now have immediate evaluations, a collaborative treatment team, and things are implemented quickly. We have needed resources and funding for the program. Thank you. Most of you are familiar with the RAP program, recognized for its successful residential treatment recovery opportunity for women. The ASAP Help and your support have now expanded that system to allow an equally like program for men through realm, another specific residential gap filled for our highest high-need men. Thank you. The Hub. It is a resource to help participants from RAP, realm, the problem-solving courts, probation and community corrections, persons coming before the court, and persons within the community. A comfortable place of care to talk with people who can help and who can make things happen, who understand the struggle and don't give up. A place all can access and access easily. I must say, the Hub staff, they may be small in number, but they are fierce, determined, and compassionate. And they collaborate and connect with all the other resources in the community to offer a holistic plan, a holistic approach. Now, those suffering can start to hold their heads higher and seek treatment instead of hiding, concealing or feeling rejected. Recovery is a learned behavior and it takes time. It requires a person to find and develop a new purpose in their life, make new and different connections, and literally contemplate and then act on changing almost every aspect of their life in order to avoid slipping back into that devastating hell of drugs that they come from or found themselves in. You, all of you, have worked on providing a community that is allowing hope and opportunity for them to be able to do just that. And in court, I frequently tell those suffering from substance use disorder at sentencing that, and I know others tell them this also, you can do this. You have only decide that you can. You hold the key to your recovery and your character, because no one can take those things away from you. It is something you get the choice of improving upon and determining every day. And as you improve, find purpose, make new connections, people will see it. Look in a mirror and finally tell yourself you're worth it, because the rest of us already know it. You need only convince yourself and move forward. And now, in this community, you can get help. You can start it. You can start it today. Hold your head high. Know that long-term recovery is possible if you choose. Whatever it is that you may be hiding, concealing, covering up, it is okay to reach out, to get help. Don't let it control your life, your character, your future. Recover, one day at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, this community, all of you, you stood together to create a community that hope can happen within. You did not do it without struggle, questions, challenges, arguments, misunderstandings, education, hope, determination, but you stood together and you said, enough. We know better. We can do better. We can make this a safer and healthier community, and you are. You are making a difference, and you are setting an example for positive change. Officer Drake Maddox of the Columbus Police Department came up with our motto for drug court: decide, commit, succeed. I would say that's also the path this community chose in response to this century-old problem. We decided, we have committed, and we will continue to succeed. Many people say in order to find heroes, we need to look at history and other places so that we can learn from them. Yeah, we can do that. But I have another thought, inspired by Stephen Pendleton, who was here earlier this year. If you want to find heroes, and plenty of them, look locally. In fact, look next to you right now. Look at the person sitting in front of you, behind you. Look at our schools, our public officials, treatment and medical providers, recovery coaches, faith-based ministries, Mission Columbus, our court system and partners, and oh my gosh, look at the community volunteers who do this because they know it's the right thing to do. Not the easiest, but the right thing. In that May 25, 2017 email I sent to my ASAP friends, I told them, I truly believe you can't find answers unless you understand the people, their stories, their obstacles, their barriers. It's not that many don't want to succeed or get better. Many simply don't know how to get there or even start. When we started, we weren't sure either. But the relentless determination, courageous hearts, and unfettered will of those working within the ASAP to make things better gave an inspiring hope for a community response that would be knowledgeable, strategic, well thought out, and well planned. Together, we've provided a hopeful spirit over overwhelming obstacles. I ended the email back in 2017 to that small number of ASAP members, knowing that moving forward would not be easy, and I stated, you guys are great. Couldn't be more proud to be in this with you. Thank you for what you are doing. Heads up, vision ahead. Friends, you jumped right in. And we very quickly went from that small, determined group to an amazing community force. We now are at a new stage, continuing forward. A lot of work is still to be done. But take time to smile as you look back to see how far we've come and the accomplishments we've had so far, how prevention has turned the table on education, knowledge, and information, how treatment and recovery are filling gaps, resources, and offering options, and hope. Allow yourselves to celebrate those. And Jeff, thank you. But then put the determined face back on, because we're continuing to move forward. We have more to do, more to accomplish, now more to measure and track, more to learn, more to share with others. So Doug, welcome and no pressure. So finally, in my end message to you here tonight, I'd like to restate my 2017 email, but to you. You guys are great. I couldn't be more proud than to be in this with you. Thank you for what you are doing. Heads up, vision ahead. Thank you.